There's something that you need to surrender. You need to let go of, and you're scared. You don't know what'll happen if you open your hands and release it. Maybe it's a past part of you, a personality trait, a fear you've held on to. Maybe it's a relationship that some part of you knows isn't right for you and it's not working. Maybe you're meant to move and you're scared. You're scared of the unknown. And so you stay there. We're going to talk today about the next step and how you do that. How you release what you know you need to let go of and trust what's coming. Hello, my friends. I'm Katie, and I help you remember your power and reconnect to the divine within you so that you can build a beautiful life from the inside out. So many times in our lives, we get in these places where we're in the threshold between something we know we need to release, and we have a vision and a dream, and we know there's more. We just somewhere deep down know, but we can't seem to get where we are to that place. It's like there's this chasm, this Grand Canyon, and there's this secret that we need to figure out in order to get there. And I want you to know something. You already have the secret within you. The secret is in the act of releasing what you know can't go forward. And you'll say, how do I know what can't go forward? I know from my own life that when it was time to release something, there was such an discomfort and a triggering inside, deep within me, and it kept gnawing at me. And those were the situations that I was most afraid of leaving, because on some level, they validated my old identity, what I believed about myself, that I needed that thing, that person, that relationship, that situation, that belief to stay safe. And what we do is we hold on, we're attached to that old identity, but it just doesn't feel like there's any other path. So we push and we force and we get so connected to the outcome that it keeps us in this cycle of exhaustion, depression, and fear. And we're living in this scarcity mode. We're thinking that this is it. I have to make this work. You don't have to force what's not working. The work is not out there. It all starts inside. It all begins by tuning back into yourself, by letting go. I've had moments where I just felt like I'd done everything. And that is the greatest moment, when you feel like you've done everything and nothing's working. This is good. And I know that sounds crazy and even triggering to say. If you are in a place where you feel so trapped and locked down and you just don't know the way forward, that you are on the cusp of becoming and returning to your most powerful self. Because it is in the act of knowing that we physically, with our conscious, logical mind, cannot figure out the next step, that we finally are able to surrender the logic and just basing everything off of the 1% of the reality we see. And we are invited to finally go in to our innermost higher self for help, for the next step, for the way forward. We basically get to that point, and I call it a final no more moment. And this is a beautifully messy, could be rock bottom, where you just throw your hands up and you say, I can't, I don't have the answers, I don't know what else to do. That's it. That's it. And you feel like there can't be any other way because you can't think of one. Let me tell you that your need to think of the answer is the very thing that is holding you back. It is when we finally open our hands and we release control of needing the certainty of seeing with our eyes, that our spiritual higher self can finally come down and we can receive what it is that we need. And that is when you will finally see the next step with so much clarity. But it will only be when you finally can let go of the need to manipulate and make things happen. That is when you will get your clarity, because you will finally stop pushing everything and you will go back in, listen to your soul, listen to what the divine inside of you wants to say to you. And you can begin to shift from scarcity and fear, the fear of thinking that you have to be the one. What a tall order. What a weight and a pressure when we go through the world thinking that we have to be the one to figure it out. Needing to know the how is the greatest thing that holds us back from our deepest, dreamiest destiny. If you can choose today to release the need for the hows and say instead, I choose to trust my higher power, that the universe has a much higher plan. And as I release my need to control, I become an open vessel, a channel for that divine wisdom to flow into me. When you open your hands and surrender the logic and the need to figure it all out today, and just choose to release the doubt, because doubt and faith are both beliefs. Doubt is believing what you don't want will come to be. And what we think will be created, because our outer world mirrors what's happening inside. Our thoughts are the cause, and the outside world is the effect. Most people think that the outer world is the cause, and their inner thoughts and beliefs and emotions are the effect. It's not, my friend. When you realize that you don't have to control anything out there, when you actually make reality outside based on where you put your thoughts, you will begin to see the immense power you have to actually create the most beautiful life that is, and everything far more than you could ask or imagine when you surrender to the flow of the divine that wants to come through you. So if you're trapped right now, if you just feel like you're up against a wall, you are at the cusp of a rebirth of your true self. Because that means if you feel like you can't do anything and you're just stuck, that means you're ready to release the masks and the self-protective behaviors and the old stories and the beliefs that got you to this point, but aren't going to get you in a place where you're thriving, where you're fulfilling your purposes, where you are your highest creative self. You've lived with the masks. You've lived to play the roles that the world assigned to you, and you're stuck because those aren't working anymore. But this is the invitation. You're being invited to release the mask, to go inside and to do the shadow work, to begin to explore the parts of you that have been stuffed and repressed for years that want to come out. And that is the path back to ourselves and our calling and our purposes and why we're here. We are here to understand that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And when we try to control through our humanity and our mind and our logic, that is when we get stuck. But the divine, the ultimate wisdom of the universe, it desires to flow through you, to bring you into abundance and joy and peace. And it will easily flow when you open your hands to release. I remember when I was in a deep rock bottom a few years ago, and I was at the point where I couldn't go on. I didn't know what was next? And it felt like nothing was next. I was standing in my bathroom and I heard it, this faint voice inside my mind. Got you. I've got you, it said. And at that moment, I knew it was a higher power. And it's like a parent. When a child is falling and the parent says, I've got you, the child can just finally relax their nervous system and know that it's all going to be okay, that you can trust in something greater than yourself. And the truth is, for many of us, for most of us, it takes reaching that point of rock bottom before we're finally ready to loosen the grip and from that old identity that kept us safe in the world. The masks and the covers that we moved through the world, and we're not ready to release it because we feel like it's what all we have to stay safe. It's only when we meet the pain that we're invited back in to pull those layers off, to meet our true self, to heal those inner child parts of us that are saying, you're ready for more. So you don't have to change everything today, but here is where we start. You can take your attention and you can make a decision today that you will decide that you're going to trust that there is higher power, that there is a higher power that has your back. That is the first step to returning to your true self, to your power, and to believe that there is a life that is so abundant that you were made for. Because you are a limitless, worthy, divine being that came into this body, and you're living out of a body that's been programmed to lack and scarcity. So today, know that you have the power to take your life back. You are not powerless to that circumstance. You do not need that thing to change for you to heal. You do not need anything outside of you right now. The only thing you need to do in this moment is to say, I trust that there is a power that is working on my behalf, and it is moving me to freedom now as we speak. The pain that I am experiencing is the portal that is releasing me from this shell that I have lived in of these false layers. And I am now walking through that, pulling those off, coming back to the truth of my real self, the power within me that I have to create, to love, and live the life that I was made for. And so I want you to pull yourself up today with that thought, with the truth of who you are. You may have been hurt, victimized in situations where you feel like you lost yourself, you lost everything, you have no control, but you have control. You have control over what you're going to believe about yourself today, who you truly are, which is worthy, and where you're going. So you have that to hold on to. You are not trapped. There is nothing that you can't create. You are not behind. You did not lose time. It is not too late. You are about to begin the best that you have ever experienced, because you are releasing from your old self, your lower self. So stand up and begin walking. You don't need to figure out all the hows. Look for the light. Look for the glimmer of light in a dark room under the door and just move towards it. Begin to dream about what's on the other side of that door, how you will feel moving there. Begin to take steps. You don't have to know what's on the other side. You just have to have the courage to stand up and to say, I'm choosing faith to walk to the light, to the door. As you do, the doors will be opened. Because when we choose trust and faith in what is unseen, the way will become clear. Stop trying to control everything and just get up, have courage, and move one step at a time. That's it. That's all you need to do today. And to say, I know a higher power has a plan that I don't have to see right now, but it is far beyond anything that I could dream up for myself. And begin to view what you desire and to detach from what it is you don't want. See, we tend to get so caught up and we get addicted to focusing on what we don't want. I don't want that. I don't want to live that. I don't want to be that. I don't want to reenact that. But what we do is we give our energy and our attention to what we don't want, and we create more of what we don't want. So if you're sitting in this bottom and you're feeling stuck, take your eyes off of what you don't want. Now, what you don't want is powerful because it's showing you what you truly desire. So begin to shift from saying, I don't want that, and ask yourself, what is true right now? What do I desire? What do I desire my life to feel like? Who do I desire to be surrounded by? What do I desire to be doing? And then choose to walk in that direction. And take your eyes off of everything around you that you don't like and you wish would change. You don't need all that to change, because when you begin to change your beliefs about what is possible, when you change your story inside, your whole world outside, it will change. It will, because it will mirror what's happening inside of you. The first step is to trust. It is to trust that this is true, that this is a new way to believe and to think. That's not what we're used to. You're used to seeing reality and accepting what you see around you as reality. But what you see outside is only mirroring what you've believed inside. And you, my love, have the power to change your beliefs, to change your thoughts. And your thoughts are going to move you to take different actions. Because today, if you believed, right now, if you chose a new belief to say, I know that there is an entirely different life for me. And this rock bottom, this feeling trapped, is just signaling that I'm ending my relationship with my old self. And it's messy, and it feels like crumbling, and there's grieving involved. And choose to believe I'm stepping in to my true self and my true purposes, and this is the path. And I choose to trust, and I choose to walk, and I choose to tune in and listen to my inner wisdom and take the next step, and to know that I'm held and supported and guided. And it takes faith, and it takes courage to trust what we can't see yet. But this is the path. This is the way. You can do this work. Now, I'm with you, and I have walked and am walking this path every day. This is the higher way. All it takes is courage and a decision today that you're going to trust a higher way. You don't have to know right now. Just know that I love you. I want you to keep going. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out this one on how to know your life's work.